Lilly Singh always felt that she was meant to work in the specialized marketing field, even in her college years. She was passionate about understanding consumer psychology, the ways brands build their images, and how they connect with customers. Every time a new campaign came up, Lilly would carefully research every element, from the content to the delivery method, ensuring that those messages were not just advertisements, but touched the hearts of the viewers. So, when she stepped into the largest media company in the city, where all high-quality marketing strategies were built and developed, she felt an immense sense of pride and confidence. This company, where the best in the media field worked, was not just a place for her to work, but a place where Lilly could collaborate creatively, make her bold ideas a reality, and most importantly, a place where she could become a leader in a field she loved. During the first few months, everything was welcoming. Lilly received attention from her colleagues and superiors, and gradually, she had opportunities for promotion that she had once only dreamed of. Every morning when she walked into the office, she could feel the vibrant energy, the atmosphere of inspiration, as if everyone in the company was contributing to a common goal, to build marketing strategies that were not only financially successful, but also impactful, changing the way people viewed a product or a brand. But no one knew that behind the grand competitions and exciting presentations, Lilly was starting to feel something was wrong. Although she had been assigned to lead several important campaigns, every time she proposed a new idea, she received scrutinizing glances, questions that didn't seem to come from genuine interest, but from doubt. The silence and coldness of her colleagues started to become more apparent, especially when the strategies she had worked on were taken by others, who celebrated them as if they were the fruits of their own efforts. Then, it quickly came to an important meeting where Lilly presented a new marketing campaign she had spent months planning and preparing for. She clearly remembered the moment she stood before the board, perfectly composed in her black suit, eyes not leaving the reference screen. She felt confident because she knew this campaign was not only creative, but also highly effective in financial terms. When she finished her presentation, all the eyes in the room were on her, but instead of praise, she was met with a terrifying silence. Then, her superior, who she had always regarded as a mentor, stood up and coldly said that the campaign couldn't be developed because it was too complicated, too messy. He immediately handed it over to a new colleague, someone Lilly knew had no real industry experience, someone who had only just joined the company. And that was when everything started to change. Lilly still remembered the feeling when she heard her superior announce that the campaign would be given to someone else. It felt like a deep wound had been inflicted on her. All the effort she had put in, the sleepless nights, the times she skipped meals to finish the work, all seemed meaningless. She looked around at her colleagues. No one said a word. No one raised their voice to support her. The feeling of being abandoned in the very company where she had worked so hard to build the career she had longed for became unbearable. The day after, when Lilly received the notice from HR that she would be transferred to a lower position in the company, everything became even clearer. Lilly couldn't process what she had just heard. She didn't understand why she had to endure this. She had given so much, worked so hard to protect the company during difficult times, and now she was being pushed out as though she no longer had value. Quietly, she discovered that the colleague she had worked closely with, sharing ideas and collaborating for so long, was the one who had stolen her campaigns. And now he was using the position Lilly had built with so much effort. Lilly sat in the dark room, her fingers scrolling on her phone. Messages from her mother, from old friends, were asking how she was, expressing concern. But Lilly had no strength to respond. She felt everything around her was growing quieter. Her trust in family, friends, and the work she had invested so many years into seemed to vanish in an instant. Everything she had done for the company, for her family, the desire to succeed, all felt meaningless. That feeling, loneliness, profound despair, left Lilly not knowing what to do next. She couldn't understand why all of this had happened to her. The questions kept swirling in her mind. Did she deserve all of this? Could she continue fighting? And the biggest question, could she rise again? Or was it too late? Lilly sat in her small apartment, the faint light from the desk lamp highlighting the stillness in the room. Each passing day felt like a suffocating weight, with thoughts spiraling in her mind, making her heart heavy, the first day after being reassigned. She called her mother, but her voice could only manage one sentence. I don't know what to do anymore. Her mother, on the other end of the line, could only remain silent. Lilly couldn't understand the stillness. Everyone told her to be strong, but at that moment, she didn't know how much longer she could keep it together. Day after day, Lilly sank deeper into her thoughts, but inside, something still flickered, despite the disappointment, the pain, and the confusion. She still felt a small flame inside her. She had put in so much effort, spent so many late nights at work. She couldn't let it all go like this. She couldn't let those who had stolen her work easily win. That was when Lilly realized that instead of lamenting and waiting for recognition from others, she needed to stand up for herself and prove her worth. In the following days, Lilly decided to act quietly. She didn't share her plan with anyone, nor did she let anyone know the thoughts brewing in her mind. She continued working, but no longer in the way she had before. Instead, she spent time learning more about marketing, taking online courses, and meeting industry professionals to expand her network. She started studying new marketing strategies, trends she had never paid attention to before. Even though her new job didn't offer many promotion opportunities, Lilly refused to let herself be caught up in that easy work. Each morning, Lilly woke up earlier than usual, prepared a quick breakfast, and dove into her work. She focused on personal projects she had never had time for before, during her lunch breaks, instead of resting. She researched successful marketing campaigns, figuring out ways to apply what she had learned to her own work. She took notes in her journal, jotting down bold ideas, strategies she believed would have a powerful impact if implemented. Sometimes, she felt so tired she could barely hold a pen, but every time she thought of what had happened and the feeling of betrayal, Lilly grew more determined. Gradually, the difficult problems kept coming. One day, Lilly received a call from an old partner at her former company. She thought this could be a good opportunity to reconnect, but when she heard the first question from this person, she felt all the conflict that had built up over time suddenly quieting. Lilly, is it really true that you don't want to come back and work with us? Our company needs someone like you. The voice of the partner was full of insincerity, as if trying to restore what had been lost, without realizing that it was them who had pushed Lilly out in the first place. Lilly remained silent for a long time. At first, she thought about refusing, but then she realized that this job wasn't just about work. It was about restoring her dignity and proving that she could succeed without anyone's help. Lilly felt a significant change in her heart. She was no longer the fragile girl who had once been humbled by betrayal. She was the only one who could change her fate, and she would not let anyone disrespect her again. Over the following weeks, Lilly focused on building an independent marketing strategy. She reached out to new partners, launched small campaigns to test her ideas, and most importantly, she began building a personal brand. Lilly no longer worked in the shadows. She started to increase her output from a safe zone. Every day, she dedicated time to developing ideas, improving her skills, and relentlessly working to prove that she could succeed without returning to her old job. The sense of change within her grew stronger. From the helplessness, the initial fear, Lilly began to feel her own strength. She realized that the wounds she had suffered were not the end, but an important step in her life. The months she had silently fought, without complaints or showing it on the outside, were beginning to bring results. The campaigns she developed independently started to attract attention from potential clients. The connections she had built began to blossom, and her company, starting from a small idea, was gradually becoming a formidable competitor in the specialized marketing field. Still, there were times when Lilly felt exhausted and discouraged, especially when she saw posts from her former company on social media, celebrating the successful campaigns that she had originally created, but without quickly acknowledging her name. Yet, Lilly knew she didn't need to take their job anymore. She had found her own path, and that was what mattered. Things were slowly changing. Lilly was no longer the girl who had been betrayed and abandoned. She had risen, and she had reclaimed her worth. Lilly had been working tirelessly over the past few months. Every morning, she woke up with clear goals in mind, strategies crafted from her heart to rebuild her career. Even though she was walking her own path, her mind could never escape the memories of her old company, the days when she had given everything, only to be betrayed. Looking back, as painful as it was, it only fueled Lilly's determination to not give up. One morning, while sitting in her usual coffee shop, a notification on her phone caught her attention. It was an article about her former company, where colleagues of hers were sharing a new strategy, one that Lilly had created. The feeling of betrayal intensified again. The words in the article made her realize that the company wasn't just celebrating success, but was also rewriting history, omitting her name completely. This feeling wasn't just the pain of being forgotten. It was an anger she could no longer suppress. Lilly couldn't allow herself to be erased again. She didn't tell anyone about her feelings. Instead, she quietly began planning a new campaign. Not the campaign her old company was pushing forward, but her own campaign, aiming to prove that the marketing strategies she had developed could succeed without their acknowledgement. But instead of doing everything alone, Lilly decided to pull in old colleagues, those who truly understood her, those who had left the company after witnessing the corrupt practices of those who had betrayed her. With the help of trusted partners, Lilly launched her True Rebuild campaign. Everything was meticulously developed, with every small detail carefully considered. She began to reuse the strategies she had originally created, but this time, she no longer worked in the shadows. Lilly started sharing information about the campaign through media channels and social networks, telling the untold stories of her creative process, the small hurdles she had overcome to bring those strategies to success. She subtly highlighted the campaigns her old company was working on, pointing out that what they were doing was merely a watered-down version, lacking true creativity. Things began to change quickly. People from her old company started to realize that the marketing strategies Lilly had created were the ones that truly led to success, not the vague strategies her old company was trying to implement. Then, an event occurred that caught the attention of everyone in the industry. Lilly, along with her campaign, attracted the interest of a large corporation, one that she had never dreamed of working with before. This company, which didn't have suitable marketing activities, wanted to invest in Lilly's company on the condition that she would lead their marketing campaigns. This was not just a big opportunity in her career, but also a way for Lilly to prove that those who had betrayed her were going in the wrong direction, and that she was the one with true value. Meanwhile, Lilly's old company began to face serious consequences, under pressure from partners and customers. The marketing strategies they had developed were not yielding the expected results. Revenue numbers didn't increase as anticipated. The campaigns lacked appeal to customers, and the absence of true creativity had caused her old company to lose its competitive edge. Although the company's leadership tried to cover up the truth, stories of mismanagement started to spread within the industry. Those who had once been Lilly's colleagues, who disagreed with the way the company handled things, began to gain prominence. They shared the story of Lilly, her strategies, and how the company had betrayed her. Lilly knew that, even though her old company was trying to analyze the situation, it was too late. She had gathered enough evidence, enough strength, and enough confidence to prove that she was the one who created true value in the specialized marketing field. The success of the True Rebuild campaign was not just a response to the doubts she had faced over the years, but a statement that she didn't need anyone's acknowledgement but her own, with the achievements she had gained. Lilly received partnership offers from major industry players, some of whom she had once only admired from afar. This not only proved her ability to restore her reputation, but also opened up a future broader than ever before. The feeling now was one of tranquility, not because she wanted revenge, but because she had proven her worth even when those who had betrayed her had never acknowledged her contribution. Her betrayers began to feel the impact of Lilly's success, and although they never admitted their mistakes, Lilly knew that they were sensing the pressure from her achievements. After a long period of silently fighting and overcoming continuous challenges, Lilly began to realize she was entering a new, more important phase. The feeling of exhaustion gave way to a profound inner transformation. She no longer felt the pain of loss or the loneliness that once surrounded her. Instead, she felt a strange power, one she had never recognized within herself before. She no longer viewed the past with anger, but began to look toward the future with unwavering faith. It felt as if a storm had passed and the sky was finally clear. But the most important thing was that Lilly had realized she didn't need to prove anything anymore. She had done what needed to be done. She had risen. She had found her path. And now it was time for her to return. Today, as Lilly sat in her small apartment, receiving news from her major partner, she felt a calmness she had never experienced before. The numbers in the financial report, the customer feedback, all pointed to the fact that her campaign had exceeded every expectation. However, she didn't allow this success to cloud the ultimate goal she had set for herself. Everything, every moment in Lilly's life, from when she was betrayed as a young girl to when she began to rebuild her career, had led to this inevitable outcome. This wasn't a direct attack on her old company, but rather a return, a comeback no one had expected. She began receiving partnership offers from major players, not just in marketing, but from other fields as well. One of these offers came from a meeting with an international media company, a company she had once only dreamed of collaborating with. Lilly knew that this was an opportunity she could not pass up. The feeling of ambition and determination inside her grew stronger than ever. Everything seemed to unfold before her eyes, as if she were ready to start anew. But this time, it wouldn't be a small step. It would be a giant leap forward. When she walked into the partner company's office, there was no trace of nervousness or tension in Lilly's eyes. Everything felt natural, from how she shook hands with the partner to presenting the strategy she had carefully prepared. She no longer felt fear or insecurity. Lilly knew that she was the one who held the true value in the industry, and everything she did would be the clearest proof of that. After the meeting, Lilly received a call from her mother, someone she hadn't spoken to in a long time. Her mother's voice trembled as she said, "You've done it. You've overcome everything. I've always believed in you." Those words were no longer an empty consolation, but a firm affirmation. Words spoken by someone who had witnessed her daughter overcoming unimaginable challenges, and this only made Lilly feel stronger than ever. She hadn't just rebuilt her career, she had conquered herself, overcoming the ghosts of her past. The biggest realization of Lilly's life came when she understood that it wasn't the people who betrayed her who were at fault. It was the challenges she had to face that taught her the most valuable lesson about resilience and the importance of self-growth. Those who had once seen her as a tool, someone who could be easily discarded, were now witnessing her resurgence. The campaigns Lilly had developed were not only successful, but had also caused a widespread impact in the industry. People began to realize that she was no longer the same girl who had been pushed aside now. She was a true warrior. One morning, Lilly received a call from her old company. This was the first time they had contacted her since she left. She wasn't surprised, but she felt the need to hear what they had to say. Their offer was simple. They wanted her to come back with a higher position and, more importantly, an unspoken apology. But Lilly had no need for it. She had gone too far and too long to return to the past. The people who had betrayed her didn't deserve her to come back. Lilly smiled as she looked at her phone, declined the call, and continued with her work. She knew that now. She no longer needed to live in the shadow of the past. Everything had changed, and she was ready to start a new chapter in her life, one that would no longer be defined by the shadows of others, but by her own story, a story she had written from the beginning. That feeling, a feeling of self-sufficiency, filled with energy, was something Lilly had never experienced before. She didn't need recognition. She didn't need an apology. She only needed to prove that she was strong, that she was the true victor. Lilly did not have gold. She understood that her return did not need to be loud, nor did it need to seek validation. She knew that in this world, sometimes silence is the strongest answer. The position she stood in, the achievements she had reached, all were the results of silent effort, a presence that no one could deny. Since she began building her personal brand, Lilly had proven her abilities without having to boast, leading the way in creating emotional marketing campaigns that told stories customers could truly feel. This was what had brought her success, and it was what allowed her to avoid direct confrontation with those who had once betrayed her. One morning, as Lilly sat in her new office, looking out at the city as it gradually brightened, she received a call she hadn't expected. It was from her old company. Lilly wasn't surprised. In fact, she had been waiting for this moment of resolution. She just didn't know when it would come. The voice on the other end of the line no longer held confidence, but instead, uncertainty. Lilly, we want to invite you back. We've seen the results we've created, and honestly, we need you. But Lilly didn't respond immediately. She took a deep breath, allowing the peace inside her to swell. She knew she didn't need to go back. She didn't need to give those who had betrayed her the chance to make amends, because she had already proven everything through what she had done, without needing to say a word. The line was quiet, with no further explanation. She understood that silence was the most powerful answer now, a clear confirmation that she didn't need to return to the past, her old company, with all they had done. No longer had enough allure to pull her back from the path she was on. Lilly's return, though not directly to those who had betrayed her, was powerful in a way they could not perceive. The strategies she had developed, the projects she had built, not only succeeded but were also recognized by major partners in the industry. She didn't need to engage in debates over what she had lost, nor did she need to prove that she was the creator of everything. Everything was clear now. And most importantly, she knew that those who had once been above her, who had stolen her credit, now had to face the very downfall they had created. As Lilly thrived, her old company began to face unavoidable challenges despite their efforts to fix their mistakes. They couldn't deny that Lilly's strategies were what had truly brought them value. The campaigns they were developing, originally built on Lilly's ideas, no longer had the same effectiveness. Partners started returning to the company, and customers began to question their creative capabilities. The revenue numbers started to drop, and maintaining the company's image became a burden. All that Lilly had created was slowly disappearing into the shadows of the company's decline. Lilly didn't need to do anything more. She had achieved her goal. She didn't need to make her old company pay for their mistakes. Everything was clear, and she no longer felt satisfaction from watching her betrayer's downfall. What mattered to Lilly now wasn't revenge, but the proof that she could succeed without depending on anyone and create a value greater than any betrayal. Lilly sat back in her chair, looking out the window as the sunlight gradually bathed the city. She knew that the dark days were behind her. There was no more pain from betrayal, no more sense of loss. She had overcome it all. And now, her success wasn't just a claim. It was a true story, a story of progress, self-respect, and, most importantly, the refusal to ever give up. She smiled, not because of the feeling of victory, but because she understood that the peace within her was the real victory. There was no need to shout, no need to explain. Everything was in her hands now, and she no longer needed to do anything but continue down the path she had chosen. Lilly had learned that the greatest revenge was success, not a direct blow to those who had betrayed her, but proof that she could do it without anyone's help. And this is what made everyone who had once underestimated her feel the brilliance of her success. And in the end, Lilly knew that this journey wasn't about revenge. It was about success. She no longer let the mistakes of the past control her life. Victory wasn't about making others pay. It was about affirming her own worth without needing acknowledgement or validation from anyone. She was the only one who could define that.